All right. Let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? And basically, this is taken off of the book of Revelation, chapter 6, and verse 17. But before we read that, let's go to Job 19. I like this. I always think this is in the book of Ecclesiastes, but it's in the book of Job 19. And what is it, 26 or 29? You know, because you got a lot of people playing games. Yep, 29.
God.
There, you got it.
Yeah, Job 19.
And I'm joined here by the Elder Kanak from the Bay Area camp.
Shalom, shalom.
GMS dedication.
God.
Dedications. You got it.
This is Job 19:29. Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword.
Right, because the trumpet is being blown, that the sword is coming. Who's the sword? Esau is the sword. Before we read on, let's go to Psalms. Yep, 17. You already know. And we're going to start at the 8th verse. Apostle likes to start at 8 because it's a lot of meat. Mm-hmm. The main point is in like 13, 14. Let's start at 8, because there's a judgment coming. The sword is out there. The warnings have been going out. The trumpet has been blown, and it's still blowing. And a lot of you guys still out there lollygagging, sleeping. You ain't willing to dance. You ain't willing to get down. You're BSing. Some of you that have woken up to being Israelites, to you it's just a fad, another religion, another movement to follow. It's not. It's pretty much like the Muslim thing was back in the 80s and the 90s. Mainly the 80s. Everybody wanted to become a Muslim because it was the popular thing to do. Every Jake was flocking to it, or a lot of Jakes were flocking to it. So it was a thing that everybody was doing at the time. So everyone got down with it, and eventually some went their way. And pretty much that's pretty much what the truth is. Back in the 90s, because when it got really popular, which you had spectators back then, cheerleaders, what we call cheerleaders. And then today, in the 2000s, during the YouTube era, you have individuals out there that watch this stuff just for entertainment, and it's not for entertainment. The scriptures say, knowing the terrors of the Lord, we persuade men, and we've been beginning with the Elder Pastor on down, the men of GMS, Great Millstone, and the affiliate camps that teach the doctrine as we teach the doctrine, have been out here warning you for years of the impending danger and the sword that's coming. So Esau is coming, and he's coming for you. You're going to be numbered to his sword, because the scripture also said that he beareth not the sword in vain. The Lord set him up as his minister, to exact vengeance upon those that are disobedient. So the Lord is going to use Esau to judge you, and then he's going to turn around and judge Esau. How about that? So let's go.
This is Psalm 17:8. Keep me as the apple of thy eye. Mm-hmm. Hide me under the shadow of thy wings.
Right, because we're hoping for the Lord to hide us under the shadow of his wings, which are his angels, which are the chariots, to protect us from any harm that's coming. That's why in the Our Father's prayer it says, lead us not into temptations, but deliver us from evil. Because evil is coming. Perilous times are coming, whether you want to accept it or not, whether you believe it or not. And if you don't believe it, that's not going to stop the Heavenly Father from doing his thing. He's still going to do it, because his word rides on his word. His name rides on his word, and he's not going to break his word, not even for his great name's sake. Go ahead.
It says, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about.
Right, from the wicked, the Edomites that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. And they're compassing us about. They're setting traps. The latest trap that they're setting, they set many traps, but the latest trap that they're setting is this whole digital system that they got being put into place to usher in the MOTB, which is the micro C-hip, in whatever form or fashion they plan on using it to insert it into people's bodies, mainly the hand. The the head part or the forehead is going to be those, that are quadriplegic or have mental disorders or things of that nature, that their limbs may not be working or missing limbs. That's going to be that side of it. And only the people that can afford that will be able to get that. But the micro C hip itself is not that expensive of a procedure, and the way Esau does things is he makes you feel like you're getting a bargain. So either he'll do it at a very low price, or they may do it for free, with perks, and yeah, you'll get the perks, you'll get the benefits, you'll get, the convenience of having that to be able to move around and about in the system, but that convenience is going to lead to your destruction. So go ahead.
Yep, verse 10. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. Right,
they're enclosed in their own fat, meaning that they're satisfied. They have everything. Like it says in Psalm 73, they have more than heart could wish. They're not in trouble as other men. They're not, in a position to where they have to worry about, money like the average person has to worry about. And we're talking about the super elite. We're not talking about the average Joe six-pack Edomite or Karen Edomite out here. And their mouths, they speak proudly. Why? Because if you have everything, if you're on top, why are you going to, be down? Go ahead.
Verse 11, they have now compassed us in our steps.
Right. They have now compassed us in our steps. Why? Because we're under their grip. We're under their authority. We're in their system. So in order for anyone to be able to navigate in this future system that Esau has already in place, you're going to have to comply to the rules and regulations, which means you're going to have to, submit to the digital, whatever he puts out there for people to use as the future currency, if you want to operate in this system. Otherwise, you're going to get locked out. Go ahead.
Yeah, they have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth.
Right, because they have surveillance everywhere. Scriptures say that they're going to be like they're like leopards in the cities. And if you know anything about a leopard is very stealthy. A leopard can walk through the thickets, through the bushes, while other animals are around, and other animals will not even suspect that leopard is there. That's how stealthy they are. So Esau has surveillance everywhere. Smart this and smart that and smart this, smart watch and a smart vacuum, like them little robot vacuums. Mm-hmm. All of that shit, they have transmitters to where they can transmit signals or video or audio from wherever they may be to a central location. Yeah. You have ever since that 2020 situation happened, they're removing people from working, and they're bringing on more and more robots, more and more AI. So you have right now, as we speak, in certain major cities, you have these little robotic carts that deliver food. Mm-hmm. And you don't think that they have certain mechanisms in them where they can take videos of stuff or record stuff that people are talking about? You want to say something?
Well, yeah, even these devices that we're actually doing videos on.
Yep.
He can tap in. He's always tapped in. He's listening. Now, as we speak, on our cell phones, which is always on our person, right? In this society, he can tap into the camera. He can tap into the mic and listen in. This is what they're doing with all these devices, and this is why Esau, he wants everything to go smart. And the last device, or the last, you could say, device is you. You're going to become the new device. He wants you to be smart.
Yep.
By putting that MOTB inside of you.
That's it.
Yep.
And that's their one, because they understand that inserting a device into somebody makes them a perpetual slave to whoever the owner of that device is. Just like the oil in ancient times, when you had an Israelite that had a master, and he would serve the master for 6 years. The seventh year, the master would let him go, supply him with enough supplies to get what he got to get. If he came in with a wife and children, he leaves with his wife and children. But if the master supplies him with a wife and he has children with that woman belongs to the master. So that man had to go out he'll have to leave his family behind. And if he decides he didn't want to leave his family behind because he loved the master, he loved the wife, he loved his children, he would have to go before the judges of those days and have an awl inserted into his ear. And that would be a signal to signify that this particular servant or slave belongs to this master for life. And that's what that device of the MOTB or the micro CF is to the international banking families. Because I believe they have like certain codes embedded within them that are going to distinguish not only who the individual is, but who they belong to, what slave master they belong to.
Yeah, the owner. Just like these different devices have different like EID numbers and different things that you know where this device goes back to. The manufacturer and who created it. Like the signature when you create artist creates a painting. It's a signature. You see what I'm saying? To know who it belongs to.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Verse 17.
12.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Psalm 17. Psalm 17:12. Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places.
Right, because they're not telling you all these things outwardly. They're just painting it. And the younger the generation is, the more gullible they are because they're being brought up and injected, for lack of better words, into this system. They're growing up where it's normal to be on a computer. It's normal to be on a smartphone. It's normal to be on a tablet. It's normal to deal with credits and debits as far as making purchases and all of that. So they're not used to a system that you should just operate solely based on cash. They're used to a system that all they use is debit cards, credit cards, so on and so forth. And they're getting used to having these smartphones that you could go to the store and just at the flash of a QR code or whatever the case may be, you can pay Apple Pay or whatever other devices they have or companies that they have to pay for things. So they're already used to that system. But the older generation are not. They're used to paying with cash. So those younger generation, they're being assimilated, conditioned to what? Into this future system. You want to say something?
No.
All right, go ahead.
It says, "Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword."
Right. So wicked is the sword of the Most High. And King, who's it? King David, I believe. Yep. And King David is asking the Lord to deliver him from the wicked, which is his sword. And they're coming down with that sword. They shall be as madmen, spare none. He beareth not the sword in vain. And this is the blessing that Esau was given. And this is the way that he's gotten the world and that he's going to get his new world order. That's what you got Trump talking about. We're not going to call it the Gulf of Mexico no more. We're going to call it the Gulf of America. We're going to come in. We're going to make Canada the 51st state, and we're going to go and we're going to take Greenland. It's going to happen, one way or the other.
That's it.
So basically, they're just gangster and shit.
That's what you said. They're the actual true gangster.
That's it.
That really goes back to Esau, Edom. The first murderer.
First
thief. The first coveter.
Yep.
The first idolater. It all goes back to Esau, Edom, the wicked.
First murderer.
First murderer. And he's doing this, and that's another identification who this man is, because he's doing the same thing he's done since the beginning, because that's his lot. "Oh, by thy sword thou shalt live." That was the blessing Isaac, Yahushua gave to Esau. And Yahushua, when he was on the earth, what do you tell Peter and the rest of the disciples? He that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword.
Yeah.
So how is Esau actually ultimately going to go out? He's going to go out by the sword.
That's it.
The nuclear missiles, and then Yahushua, which also, he's coming bearing that sword.
Well, that's what the Lord said when he is about to fill his belly, which we may read a little bit of that. Let me just pull that up on deck. You can read the next verse.
Okay, yep. Verse 14. "From men which are thy hand, O Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, from men of the world which have their portion in this life.
Right. Who's this talking about? If you put on your thinking cap and the Spirit is working with you and you're part of the elect, you will have to know if you knew anything about what's really going on in this world and who really runs the world, you would have to know that it's the international banking families. And how have they taken over all these different countries and their resources, their economy, and everything through business, through these different corporations that they have implanted in all of these different nations. You see, this is why when you go to these different governments, the governments are run by politicians, and the politicians that are running it, for the most part, for the major part of it, are all corrupt, and they are lobbying, what they call lobbying, legislation on behalf of the corporations, the big corporations, not for the people. And they're supposed to be there to officiate laws that are going to help benefit the people to protect their rights, but they're not doing that. They're taking money and bribes from these larger corporations to put legislation in place that's going to benefit those corporations to be able to take everything and over everybody. Mm-hmm. They understand the dynamic of debt slavery. They understand the dynamic of control of everything, where you control everything and everybody has to come to you. That's why Cotton Schwab, as a young elder, or the priest Amawan Gabar, says, he says, you shall own nothing and you will be happy. Why? Because they're just going to give you just enough to keep you content, to keep you, with a roof over your head, with some GMO cardboard box foods that they're going to give you, and a weekly, salary.
Yeah. Universal basic income
that you're going to have to use.
Yeah.
And if you don't use it, they take it away. You can't save nothing. So if they give you $500 a month and you only use $300, that other $200 is gone.
Yep.
They're taking it back. So you ain't gonna be able to have no savings. It's gonna be total slavery. You want to say something?
Yeah, no, that was it.
Go ahead.
Yep, it says, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure.
Right, because they have everything. Go ahead.
They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes.
Right, because they leave generational wealth. Jake doesn't have generational wealth. Jake has generational debt, generational curses, generational madness. The shit that you see Jake doing today, you would have never heard. I mean, you had some demons back then, but you would have never heard this madness today back then in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, and 60s, 70s, and 80s, of how these children are acting today. You'd have got your ass wore the fuck out. You would have got your head taken off your head. You would have been back in the spirit world. Jake didn't play that shit back then. They will whoop your ass within an inch of your life. Mm-hmm. They'll whoop you to the white meat. Mm-hmm. They'll crack your skull. They'll break your face. They'll kick your ass. They'll beat you into submission. Today, you scream at your children today, and they calling the government on you, DCYS or whatever the hell that those different agencies are.
Yeah, Child Protective Service.
Yeah, you want to say something?
No.
That shit didn't happen back then. But today, these beasts out here today, they're not. That's the wealth, or the generational wealth that Jake has gained. Nothing but deterioration.
What the scripture say? Degenerate.
That's it.
How is basically Jacob become a degenerate vine
of a strange plant unto me.
Meaning like you have degenerative disease, mm-hmm. which means it gets worse over time. So each generation of Jake is worse than the generation before them. So now this is what you have today. Well, with a bunch of goons and goblins. Yep. You know what I mean? They're no longer just you got certain Jake, just a bank robber or whatever, or a thief. It's a sodomite, thief, cannibal type shit. Just weird. Jake just weird, man. They'll take their parents out. Shoot. They'll shoot the parents. No respect for authority. Mm-hmm. They what they call it today, crashing out. They're just crash outs, crash dummies.
Yep. Yeah, like the elder put up Proverbs 23:13. Withhold not correction from thy child, for if thou beatest him, he with the rod he shall not die. Proverbs 19:18. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let
not thy soul spare from his crime.
To water. Yep. So he gonna cry, but guess what? That's gonna make him better because it's gonna give him some act right. Where he gonna think twice before trying to commit that same shit that he did that got him in that hot water in the first place.
Well, it says, chasten thy son while there is hope.
Right.
And this is why this society, Edom, he wants all this confusion. He takes your kids from you. He wants to put you into these school systems, so he can program them at that young age.
Right.
Because once that programming pretty much sets in, there's really no hope of correction. That's the majority of our people. Yet Esau, he did not account for or consider the Most High putting that spirit back upon, a small remnant of his people. Perfect. That can break out of that programming. You got it.
Yeah, that's right. And pretty much that's the bottom line. The Lord is gotten elect that have not bowed the knee, 7,000 men, which is a complete number of men that have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. They haven't conformed. They were in the world. They were a part of the world. They were moving in the direction that the world was moving, but the Lord yanked them out.
Yeah, they were not of the world. That's all.
They were not of the world. So the Lord yanked them out. But these are the things that Esau is not counting on because he's not spiritual. He's a carnal man. He's not counting on divine intervention. He's counting on his plans working 100% because he's seeing it work over and over and over and over and over again. So all right. So let's go back to Job 19. You could read 29 unless you want to start up above that, but
29. Yeah. Job 19:29. Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishment of the sword.
Right, and the wrath of the Lord is bringing the punishment of the sword. Why? Because the Lord is fed up with this place. He's ready to stomp this place out, but he's bound by his word. That's why he's not going to break. That's why in Songs of Solomon, I believe it's chapter 3 and chapter 8 also, it says, wake not my love until he please. Right. So what does that mean? That means the Lord has a set time for every judgment, time and chance happening to all men. So the Lord has a time and a date when these judgments are going to be meted out. And he's not going to push and go forward until the set time where that punishment or that judgment is to be meted out. That's why it says, what if the Most High, willing to show his power, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? See, because Esau was already created for that. Esau was created to cause chaos in the world so that the Lord can come there and checkmate his ass and allow as many Israelites that the Lord don't want to go down the path of Esau, follow the demonic Pied Piper into their destruction. And then turn around and judge this devil for that, because your kingdom your world is going to collapse. Then you're going to be in those shelters. Then the Lord is going to bring his elect back on the earth. Then the elect are going to go around to all them different bunkers, kick the door down, and pull your ass out of those bunkers and cart you right into slavery. Yep. And your very first job is going to be one group of you is going to be looking for dead bodies, putting up signs, and the other group of you is going to be digging holes and burying all those dead bodies. And you will be forever in captivity and slavery. You are never going to be on the bread line or the soup line. You are never going to be on the unemployment line. There will be continual work for you on the ready. You ain't going to have to worry about robots taking your jobs. You ain't going to have to worry about being, a new individual coming up, threatening your job because you might get kicked out of your job because this person is better than you. No, you all going to have equal opportunity in the kingdom of heaven for work.
The scriptures say continual labor.
There you go.
So it's always going to be a job for you, Esau. And some of that is just gonna get your ass beat. You know, that's gonna be your job. Just the punching bag essentially for the Israelites.
Oh yeah.
To do their bidding. You know.
It's just gonna be a punching bag. Shalom, bro. You're gonna be a punching bag for the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. So go ahead.
Well, it's a lesson right there. It says, "Be ye afraid of the sword, for wrath bringeth the punishments of the sword, that ye may know there is a judgment."
There's a judgment, but guess what? You don't consider that there's going to be a judgment. You didn't consider what your actions would get you in the future. You see, you didn't know that, your underhanded deeds caused a lot of havoc in the world, and your underhanded deeds gave you the upper hand, got you wealth, got you lands, precious lands. But guess what? You didn't consider the payment in the long run. Neither did they consider their latter end. Like it says in Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter. And also Isaiah 47.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Isaiah 47, around maybe like 8 or 9 or something like that. Yeah. If you could get that. So you didn't consider these things. Like the elder got, a bunch of boxing gloves up on the screen.
Okay, got it.
You're gonna get it 2, 4, 6, 7. Yep, that's it. Complete amount. You're gonna get ping pong ping. We might fuck around, play badminton with you, or soccer, or volleyball with your ass. You just never know. The scriptures say that our hearts shall meditate terror. You had a creative mind to jack us up. I mean, you did horrific shit that we're not going to do to you. But guess what? The Lord is going to give us an imagination on another level to get vengeance for those things that we can't do, that we won't do, because it's an abomination. You're going to get it like you never gotten it before. Esau is going to get a legendary ass whooping that was never given to any nation on the planet. Your ass whooping is going to surpass, I speak as a fool, but your ass whooping is going to surpass the ass whooping of the Israelites. The ass whooping that the Lord gave us here, your ass whooping is going to surpass that, because you're going to get double. And after you serve that 1,000 years, you're going to be rounded up and every last one of you burnt up. All right? It's going to be a movie in the kingdom. The Last White Man on Earth. Starring Whoopi Goldberg. And I forgot what the other chick he said, Paul Mooney. He said, don't look for the sequel. We catch him. You got some?
Good. With Isaiah?
Isaiah 47, and it's got to be around 8, maybe 9.
What does it say again?
They didn't consider.
Yeah, that's like 4, 5, 7.
Yeah, that's it. 7. Yep.
Yeah, I'll go right. Yep.
Matter of fact, start at 6. Yeah. That's a nice build up.
Yep. Isaiah 47.
And you got it if you want to,
No,
okay, go ahead.
Isaiah 47:6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance.
Right. How did he pollute his inheritance? By giving them over to your hand. We were polluted when you took over because you did a lot of foul shit. Go ahead.
And giving them into thy hand, thou didst show them no mercy.
Right. You didn't show no mercy. Expect no mercy. It said that he shall have mercy without judgment, that he shall have judgment without mercy, that have showed no mercy. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Right. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So you didn't care how young or how old the individual was, if they were man, if they were woman, if they were children, if they were lame, if they were maimed, if they were, pregnant, infants, if they had mental problems. You didn't give a shit. You gave equal opportunity ass whooping and hell to each and every one of us. So guess what? You did the crime. Now you got to do the time.
Yep.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
No.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever.
Right. You said you're going to be a lady forever. You never thought. And right now, these devils don't think they're going to lose their position. That's why you got this big mouth President Trump popping off, speaking great things. How they're going to take over this place, they're going to take over that place, and they're going to rename this place, and they talk as if they're going to be ruling forever, like they'll never go down ever. The big bad white man, the big bad Edomite, never go down. That's how they talking.
Well, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
That's it. Yep. And their dwelling places to all generations. This is why they call their lands after their own names. Even bodies of water. That's how pompous this devil is. Yeah. That's why the Lord said, the pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Go ahead.
It says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart.
Right, you didn't consider. Go ahead.
Neither didst remember the latter end of it.
Right, you didn't consider what you would have to pay in the long run.
Yeah.
You were like an individual that was given a credit card without any limits. Right, and nobody told you that you would have to eventually pay for that, but you just kept running the tab and running the tab and running the tab and running the tab. And you're still running the tab.
Yep.
So when it comes time to call back that debt, you're gonna be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, big trouble. Yeah, you want me to read a little bit more?
Read. Yep. And then we could probably get ready to wrap it up.
Okay, kind.
I'm gonna read this and then read Revelation and maybe a precept in Job 20, and then we could close.
Okay, kind. I got one too.
Okay,
one precept. Isaiah 47. And can I go to that one actually?
Bring it out. What you got?
This is Jeremiah 50, and I started at 23, but the point is in 24. Just land backing off of that verse that we read in Isaiah 47, how Esau he wasn't aware of these things. This is Jeremiah 50, and you can
Okay, you can read it. Start at 22.
Okay, 22. Okay, kind.
Because this is what we're hearing right now.
Kind.
What they call the drums of war.
Yep, Jeremiah 50 and 22. A sound of battle was in the land, and of great destruction.
Right, and this is echoing throughout the nations and their armies, but it's also being echoed by the prophets, which is the Lord moving the prophets to speak these things.
Right.
The prophets that have been before have prophesied against great kingdoms of war, pestilence, so on and so forth. So that's what the sound is in the air. That's the trumpet that's being blown. Also, outside of the MOTB and the wolf coming is World War III and the Lord coming.
Yep. Right. Yep. Verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Right. And this goes hand in hand with Isaiah the 14th chapter. The Most High is the one that broke your scepter, broke your staff, broke your power. And this is why you don't have the great influence through your power that you had at one time. That's what the nation's gonna say. Are you become weak as we? Yep. What's up, man? What's up, big bad white man?
Yep.
What's up with this imperialistic ruling nation? What happened? How did you lose this power? How did you lose your grip? You had it all sewed up, right? What happened? How did you get loose?
Well, that's gonna be like them taunting proverbs, and you can kind of even hear these nations saying that now, like China, Russia, Well, people were saying that when they had to pull out of Afghanistan, people were making fun of America when they had to pull out of Afghanistan and they had to leave all that military weaponry. They got your ass got ran out of Afghanistan.
Right. Now Trump talking about we'll give them money, but they got to give us back.
They got to give them back the weapons. But that's shame upon America. Used to have that glory. Talks about the Habakkuk the 2nd chapter. Shameful spewing on thy glory. So that's basically what's going on now. These other nations are looking at at the state of your country. You have divide, you have turmoil, you have homelessness, you have drug addiction, you have economic crises, right? And then ultimately they're gonna look upon you. What is that? Nahum, a gazing stock. You're gonna be a gazing stock once the destruction comes. Okay, you're gonna be a proverb. You're gonna be a song. Okay, like the apostle was going into you, the big bad white man. Hold on, you was just kicking our ass just a minute ago.
Is this the man?
Is this the man that made the
earth tremble?
Earth tremble? You know, dropping bombs on people and just destroying people, taking resources, you know, having everybody bugged out. Now that the power is stripped away from you, people are going to see how low you are.
Right.
The Most High is going to bring you low, man. Okay,
to the piece of shit that you are.
That's it.
You piece of shit.
How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
Right, because eventually you're going to become a desolation. But prior to you becoming a desolation, there's a great stain on your name. You know, and that great stain on your name is what's making you fall. It's just like a celebrity. They come up, they're nobodies. Then they start getting fame. They just start making hits, and people start loving them. And then a great scandal comes out.
That's it.
And then they go from this great adored celebrity to this, you know, everybody's ridiculing you, making fun of you, you know, taunting you, you know, and they talk about you so much that you just disappear from the annals of history.
Well, that's what we're witnessing. P. Diddy, the scandal with P. Diddy. He was like a top guy. He's literally known around the world, man. There's so many different songs that artists have done over the years that speak about P. Diddy. They just put him into his, you know, in their verse. He's been in so many different movies. He was a household name. Now to be considered with P. Diddy is like a shame unto you. Like, oh no, I don't have nothing to do with this guy. That's pretty much how Esau. You know, these nations. Well, the scriptures talk about how these nations, they're gonna flee into their own lands.
Right.
They're like, oh, I don't have nothing to. I'm done with Esau. Even we went into the lesson. The 304 shall hate the whore. Even your own allies, the EU, NATO, they gonna pull back. Like, hey, nah, we're gonna come against America. That's how bad it's gonna get. Okay.
Oh, the 304 is pissing off the beast.
Yeah, pissing off the beast. You know.
Yep.
It says. Yep, I have laid a snare for thee.
Meaning the Lord already set a trap for you. And that's why it says you're going to fall in your own trap. That's what the scriptures say in Job that the Lord said, Psalms, that the Lord set you up in slippery places. Because although you were set up and established, really it's like a slippery slope that you're playing with. Because it's gonna cause your downfall. It's gonna bring forth your judgment. And it's no coincidence that 2025 is named the hopeful year of our deliverance and the destruction and judgment of Esau.
It's heavy.
You know?
That's everything in one.
Yeah.
It covers all bases.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just like you can't get around it.
Kind. Yep. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken.
Right, because you fell for the trap. The Lord gave it to you. He gave you the blessing of the sword. He told you what you were going to do, and you did it. You fell for it. Yep. You know, you fell for the bait.
And well, because Esau, he prides himself of being a hunter, right? He's like that hunter. He prides himself of trapping up the nations.
Yep.
Everybody else, he's being the predator, and you're the prey. And he's been in that position for so long that he believes nobody can come and bring him down. But the whole time, you've been the prey. And the Most High, he's been the predator. And now you are being found out to be in a trap. And now that's being echoed by the mouths of the prophets. Okay, that you're actually in a trap. You're getting ready to fall. You're getting ready to slip. And as that message goes out, you also have the other nations that are having that same mindset, right? Let the heathen be awakened. Now they're like, man, well, when Obadiah, there is a how does it go at the top? There's a Salakia. Let me just.
No, I'm trying to.
Yeah, Obadiah.
You talking about what he says? The pride of thy heart has deceived thee.
No.
Or they're confederate. They're not confederate.
Obadiah. Give me a second. There is an ambassador. There we go. Let me just read this real quick. The vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. See, we have heard a rumor. That rumor is now being made public and being made known that this man's getting ready to go down. Okay.
Right.
An ambassador. Oh, he's gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. So first is a rumor. Okay, Babylon is falling. This man, he's done. So forth. We're out there preaching, prophesying. This man's going down. But now it's starting to actually be like, oh shit, this dude's getting ready to go down.
Yeah, yeah.
And then now you have other nations saying, to hell with Babylon. Oh, we're not going to do this. You're fighting against your own alliances,
Yep.
right? So then the Lord, he that ambassador, like, hey, nah, man, it's time to come. It's time to get this bitch.
Yeah, and then when you go back to the 60s, mid 60s, right? This particular ambassador, which is Gamal Abdul Nasser,
Yep.
right? He was, at that time, that's when America really started going down. But even though he was the one that gathered them Arab nations against them small hats, that was the beginning of your downfall. Because back in the 60s, especially after you sent, your so-called ship up, which you never went to the moon, you told the world you did. But when you did that and you set up your space stations and your satellites and all that, that's when the Lord started really bringing you down. From that point until today, you've been falling. Slowly but surely, but you've been falling. And now you're falling even faster.
Well, in that was synonymous with Abba Bivens coming on the scene.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? So that was directly correlated with the prophets coming back on the scene and you falling down, right? In 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, the 8th verse, it says, you will be consumed with the spirit of his mouth, and then you will be destroyed with the brightness of his coming. That's right. Shai coming to physically take you down. But right now, you're being spiritually taken down through the word, okay? And I'm gonna actually get that. All right, give me a second. Because everything happens spiritually before it happens, before it manifests physically. Okay. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And how is Esau being consumed by the spirit of the Lord's mouth as well by these videos, by us going out on the highways and hedges from our apostles and elders on down. It talks about that as the 6th chapter is that Inquisition. The Inquisition is being made, which Inquisition is a period of a long period of intense questioning, okay, and investigation. So now you're being investigated, all right, by the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. And you know that you're going down, but of course, this is why America is also correlated spiritually to Egypt. All right, Pharaoh, he knew the Most High was real. He knew about the plagues. He knew he should let these people go. He's not able to stand against the Heavenly Father. But what did the Lord do? He hardened Pharaoh's heart. And Edom, he's the modern Pharaoh. Okay, he's in the seat of the ancient Egyptians. Okay, so but see now he's very powerful because he has higher level technology than the Egyptians, and he believes that his technology, that's where his confidence lies, at is in the sword. That's his blessing. Okay, like our blessing is the spirit. We are confident in the spirit. Okay, that's our faith. Esau's confidence is in his weaponry and his ability to deceive, and he's been able to deceive. He's been able to beat down the nations for so long, and nobody come up against them. And anybody that did come up against him, he was able to crush, without really any pushback. But now that magic that he had, if you will, that power that he had, is not as potent as it was. Right. When you go in Isaiah the 47th chapter, where it says, "What stand now with thy enchantments, and the multitude of thy sorceries," right? Because and this is why there's so much going on and so many deceptions and enchantments day in and day out. This false flag, this, because it's not working like it used to work. All right. And then his own tongue also is falling upon him. Let me finish this. And then shall that wicked, all right. And that word wicked, I always bring this out. That's a capital W, which is showing you that this is an actual person, a man, a group of men, starting with the elites. Yep. Really, it's the elites of Esau. And the prophets were told to prophesy against the mountain of Edom. Okay, prophesy against Mount Seir, which is the government. All right, the government of Esau, Edom. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume. When you go into that word consume, also in the Greek, it means to be destroyed with the spirit of his mouth, and shall be destroyed with the brightness of his coming. Because at the end of the day, no matter, it doesn't matter what you do, because you're going to push the MOTB. All right, you're going to have certain success in that of chipping people. John the Revelator, he saw you chipping people, but at the end of the day, you're going to be destroyed. All right, and see, this is what gives us confidence. And basically, the scriptures talk about how we're going to have victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, over the number of his name. Okay.
Yeah, and the word for wicked there is anomos. So it's destitute of the Mosaic law of the Gentiles, departing from the law, a violator of the law, lawless, wicked.
Ooh, yeah, he's a lawless man, the beast man. Okay,
the beast man cometh.
Yeah, the beast man cometh. Yeah, and that's Esau. You know, he comes in the spirit of Satan. Well, it talks about that with all lying or wonders. Well, let me get to read a little bit more. Yeah, verse 9. It says, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan. Okay, well, Satan means adversary. All right, and he's adversarial to the laws of Yahweh Shema Shai, the order of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, he says a man and a man can be together. A woman and a woman can be together. You could change your gender. Okay, he tried to push that minor attractive person when Biden came in, you know, basically trying to normalize adults sleeping with children. And who is it? Who if he's not the devil, who's the devil?
Yeah, where and who is he?
If he's not coming in the spirit of Satan, who is he? Where is it? We gotta identify this guy. But see, the spirit has identified you, Esau, and you can't run, you can't hide. So you're setting up a campaign to try to persecute and destroy the Israelites. All right, but it's not going to work. Okay, you're fighting against the Heavenly Father, and you can't win. With your arms are too short to box against the Most High.
That's it.
Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So yeah, I think I was done there. Did you want to?
Okay, now we're gonna go with Revelation 6:17. We'll read that, and then we'll read like a verse or two in Job 20, and then we could close it out.
Okay, got it. Revelation 6:17. It says, "For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?"
Right, because when you read a little bit above that, it speaks about Esau being hiding in these shelters, these bomb shelters, right? But then at the end of it, it says, "For the great day of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand?" So the Lord is bringing a judgment upon the earth, and there's going to be a lot of people. That's why it says, "The slain of the Lord shall be many." It's going to be many people that's going to be destroyed. Satan, man, there's going to be many people that's going to be destroyed. You know, and these international bankers, their world is going to be turned upside down, but they're going to make it.
Yeah.
Because they need to pay for what they need to be the first in line to pay for all the wickedness that they've done and all the hardships and the pain and the suffering and the sicknesses and the deaths that have occurred in the earth under his watch. You have been a slumlord. You know, the Lord gave you the world into his hands and you did not treat it right. So now the Lord is going to judge you for it.
That's right.
And then we could finish off with Job chapter 20 and the whole chapters. Yeah. But we could start at, matter of fact, you know what? Let's go straight to the point, because if we start, we're gonna be here another hour.
Okay.
So read Job 20 and 20. We're gonna read to about 22.
That's literally where I was at.
Come.
This is Job 20 and 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly.
Right, because what is the quietness? That's the you know, when you finally got the world into your grasp and you finally able to fully implement your new world order that you've been pushing going back to the 1400s, you know, all the way to the present. You know, you're not going to feel quietness because you're not going to be able to achieve that dream. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're going to have a stomach ache at all times.
That's right.
You know, because when your belly is quiet, your mind is quiet. You feel good.
Right.
You know, but you if you got grumblings and pains and cramps and bloating, right? Yep. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. Right, because you're going to be up in smoke. You know, you ain't going to be able to escape from the judgments that the Lord is going to bring on you. Go ahead. It says, when he is about to fill his belly.
22.
I'm sorry, Slakia. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits.
Right. When you get to your full, you're going to be in straits, in the position of hardship. Why? Because the Lord is going to bring you down. Go ahead.
Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him.
Right, which is talking about the laborers, the people that have been working and have been getting they begin the stiff one, for working for pretty much for crumbs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When he is about to fill his belly.
Right, when you are ready to establish a new world order.
The Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him.
Right, because that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. That's okay. The Lord said, okay, that he went past the bound. Now it's time to judge him. Go ahead.
Now it's time to beat him to the ground.
Beat him to the ground. That's right.
It says, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Right, and as you read further down, it speaks about the missiles, which is going to be the weapon that the Lord, the blessing that the Lord gave you to scare the world and to take in their resources is the same weapon he's going to use to judge you. And then Yahushua is going to pull up in that chariot, and then the other chariots from the angels, and they're going to get the fucking you up. And great shall be the fall of you. Yahushua said that I saw Satan as lightning fall from heaven. You're going to fall so fast, you're going to be nothing but smoke, ashes, and dust.
Vapor.
Dust in the wind. So the Lord is going to make easy work of you. You had anything else? All right, so with that, we pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time we say, Shalom.